keep quiet about this woman, okay? Don't say anything.
There was a bombshell hearing this week where Fani Willis testified about her alleged corruption in the prosecution against Donald Trump, and the details were spicy. I have never seen court proceedings like this before. I'm going to get into all the details this week on Wolves in Finance. Fani Willis is the district attorney for Fulton County, Georgia. She is bringing the criminal case against Donald Trump using the RICO statute. She's accusing him of racketeering because he protested the results of the 2020 presidential election. Now, I've already made a video breaking down the details of this case, and I will link it in the description down below. But in this video, I want to focus on the events of this week, when Fani Willis herself took the stand in the case. This case was brought against 19 defendants, including President Trump. One of the defendants, Michael Roman, filed a motion to disqualify Fani Willis and dismiss the case. In the motion, he accuses Fani Willis of enriching herself from the case and sleeping with Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor in the case. Allegedly, she hired her boyfriend to run the prosecution and then has been taking kickbacks in the form of lavish vacations. In America, every citizen has the right to a fair trial. It's in the Constitution. So if a prosecutor is engaging in corruption in a case, the defendant has the right to request that they be disqualified and removed from the case. Prosecutors are required to remain impartial. A different prosecutor could still bring a case against these defendants, just not the prosecutor that is using the case to personally enrich themselves. That would not be fair. This was not just accusations either. The motion contained hard evidence that's difficult to dispute. There were receipts for trips with both the names of Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Here's a hotel receipt. Here's the receipt for plane tickets. Here's a receipt from a company called the Cruise and Vacation Authority. Here's a receipt from Royal Caribbean for a cruise in the Bahamas. Their names are listed on all these receipts. These receipts total thousands of dollars, and they were all purchased on Nathan Wade's business credit card. The receipts prove that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade took trips to the Bahamas, Aruba, Belize, and Napa Valley, all within an 8-month period. These are clearly not work trips. They are romantic getaways. Now let me ask you a question. Think of everyone that you know. Do you know anyone who has traveled to the Bahamas, Aruba, Belize, and Napa, all within an 8-month period? When are these people getting any work done? Here is the annual financial disclosure submitted by Fani Willis. She is required to disclose any gift over $100. She disclosed nothing. Wait, what? What about all the trips that she went on and that were on Nathan Wade's credit card? All of this happened in the context that the selection of Nathan Wade as special prosecutor was very suspicious. Nathan Wade has never filed a RICO case before, and Fani Willis has paid Nathan Wade more than $650,000 while they were sleeping together. So what this looks like is that Fani Willis took taxpayer dollars, paid her boyfriend enormous amounts of money, and then took kickbacks when Nathan Wade bought trips for her. That would be corruption and a reason to dismiss the entire case. She's making herself rich off of prosecuting Donald Trump. Let's talk about Fani Willis for a moment. She has a net worth of $8 million. How did she get all of that money? Her salary as district attorney is only $110,000 per year. She spent 16 years as a prosecutor in Fulton County, Georgia. Then she went into private practice for 1 year. Then she became a judge for 1 year. Then she was elected as district attorney. Out of all of these jobs, how in the world did she make $8 million? Where did the money come from? Can she explain what she did to get $8 million? Now, Fannie denies any wrongdoing, which is why a hearing was necessary. The defendants have a right to ask her questions about all of these receipts. It turns out that what we learned was even worse than the allegations. Fannie Willis filed a formal response with the court, where she attaches a sworn affidavit by Nathan Wade. In the document, they claim District Attorney Willis and Special Prosecutor Wade have been professional associates and friends since 2019. There was no personal relationship between them in November 2021 at the time of Special Prosecutor Wade's appointment. So they're admitting to having a relationship, but they claim it didn't start until 2022, so it did not impact the case in any way. Now, hold on 1 minute. Donald Trump was not arrested until August 2023. What do you mean this didn't impact the case? This is even more hypocritical, given comments that Fannie Willis has made in the past.
Because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees. Because they deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket when it should go to benefit children. Because we deserve better.
So Fannie Willis says that she will be a good district attorney because she won't sleep with her staff and she won't take any money. Isn't that exactly why we are in this hearing? Because we have proof they were in a relationship, and we have receipts for the money exchanged. What is even crazier is Fannie Willis went and gave a speech at a local church. In this speech, she talks about the whole situation, and she explains that she's being attacked not because she did anything wrong, but because of racism.
Is the white male Republican's judgment good enough, but the black female Democrats not? Lord, now I want to be clear. All three of these special counselors are superstars. But I'm just asking God, is it that some will never see a black man as qualified, no matter his achievements? What more can one achieve? The other two have never been judges, but no one questions their credentials. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to play the whole 30-minute speech, but she says throughout the whole speech that she is being attacked because she is black. Let me just say something. If you're running around town and sleeping with other people's husbands, maybe you shouldn't stand up in church and give a speech about it. I think the whole thing is a little hypocritical. She is sleeping with her coworker and taking money. What does being black have to do with it? It's not racist to call someone out for public corruption. But hold on, because it gets worse. It also appears that they are lying. The hearing started with a former friend of Fannie Willis taking the stand. She testified that they were romantically involved starting in 2019. She observed hugging and kissing.
Without going into all the painstaking details, there is no doubt in your mind that from 2019 until 2022, Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade were in a romantic relationship.
What's the question?
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
Okay. And that's based on your personal observations and speaking with them and seeing them together and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
She is saying that she has direct knowledge that Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade lied in their court documents. You need to understand who this is. This is a woman named Robin Yurti. She describes herself as a good friend of Fannie Willis. They even lived together for a long time. Robin also worked with Fannie Willis in the district attorney's office. She testified that she resigned from her job in 2022 and has not spoken to Fannie Willis since. This is someone who knew Fannie Willis very well, and they lived together. They would see each other every day. She testified that Fannie Willis lied. So now the corruption by Fannie Willis is the least of her problems. Her biggest problem is that it looks like she is covering up the corruption by lying in documents to the court. That's called perjury, and it's a crime. This should be very simple. In Georgia, you can be barred from being a lawyer if you lie to a judge. But let's give Fani Willis the benefit of the doubt. What if Robin Yurti is lying? Now, she seems pretty credible to me, but what if she wasn't? Maybe if we put Nathan Wade on the stand, he can clear up any of these issues.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you.
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
I was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
And so all of the vacations that she took, she paid you cash for.
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased all of these vacations on your business credit card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you included those in deductions on your taxes, correct?
No, ma'am.
No, you did not.
Okay, so Nathan Wade admits to purchasing trips for Fani Willis, and then she would pay him back with cash. That's strange. So we have the evidence from the credit card statements that the purchases were made, but since Fani Willis's payments to Nathan Wade were in cash, no records exist. And these transactions were for thousands of dollars. How does she have thousands of dollars in cash lying around to pay off her boyfriend? Why wouldn't she just write a check? Isn't that suspicious? But it gets even worse.
Oh, did you have more?
I did.
Okay.
I wanted to get into the charges on the card because so traveling with her is a task. You can probably imagine the attention that happens. So for safety reasons, she would limit her transactions. I mean, imagine trying to walk through an airport or sit at a restaurant or do anything. So there's no attempt to conceal. It's a credit card. Everything's here.
So they did all of this for security reasons? They put all the charges on Nathan Wade's credit cards as a way to keep Fani Willis from being recognized. That's an admission that they were doing it to hide the transactions. Then the lawyers ask him about the timeline. Did Nathan Wade lie in his sworn statement about not being romantically involved before 2022?
But you did travel with Miss Willis in 2023, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2022, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2021, correct?
No.
So you only traveled with her in 2022 and 2023?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
That's what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't remember if you traveled with her in 2021?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
Is what you recall. My question is, did you travel with her in 2021?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So it's not yes or no, you just don't remember?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
I'm sorry, but this sounds an awful lot like he is lying. He can't recall? Why can't he just say yes or no? Isn't that strange? Let me ask you this question. For any of you who've been in a relationship, is it unusual for a couple to not be able to remember the anniversary of when you started dating? Isn't that odd? 2021 was not that long ago. It wasn't like it was 20 years ago. It was 3 years ago. He just can't recall? And there is more evidence that Nathan Wade has committed perjury before on this issue. Nathan Wade is getting divorced. And in his divorce case, he submitted a sworn statement that he did not have sexual relations with Fani Willis before May 30th, 2023. Well, all those romantic trips he took with Fani were before that date. The Bahamas, Aruba, Belize, and Napa Valley. He has admitted in this hearing that they started becoming romantically involved starting in 2022. So was he lying in the divorce trial, or is he lying now? Either way, he's a liar and has committed the crime of perjury.
When did your romantic relationship with Miss Willis begin?
2022.
When in 2022?
Early 2022.
So you were appointed in November of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And your relationship started early. What's early? January? February?
Around March.
Around March.
That interrogatory states as follows. Identify any and all occasions in which you entertain a member of the opposite sex, other than your spouse, who is not related to you by blood or marriage. You see that? Now, there are two parts to this. The second part is, I read on, or in which a member of the opposite sex, other than your spouse, not related to you by blood or marriage, entertains you. And then it goes on to say, including but not limited to dining, drinking, in restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels. You see that, correct?
I do.
Now, as of May the 30th, 2023, when you filed this interrogatory, you had in fact entertained Ms. Willis on many occasions, had you not?
Again, during the course of the marriage was irretrievably broken in 2015.
Well, then
The answer's still no.
let's read what the interrogatory says about the time period required to answer the interrogatory. Because what it says is, it goes on to say, including but not limited to dining and or drinking at any restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels, or persons' homes from the date of marriage to the present. Do you understand what the word present means?
This testimony proves he's a criminal and can be sent to jail. There's no doubt about it. Now just keep this in mind. This is the special prosecutor in the case against Donald Trump. This is the guy who will be trying to send Donald Trump to prison. And he is the one who's being accused of filing false documents with the court. Then Fani Willis took the stand. She was asked whether she paid her boyfriend thousands of dollars in cash to reimburse him for the purchases.
The cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank. I have money in my house. You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there.
When you meet my father, he was going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times. Now, I don't know why this old black man feels like that, but he does.
She admits to having massive amounts of cash in her house. That's very strange. I think the IRS should investigate these people. Because that is the type of thing that happens when there's criminal activity. And then it sounds like she also admits to campaign finance violations.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from? If it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. When it's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
What? She took the money from her campaign funds? Is that how she got a net worth of $8 million? Did she pay taxes on that? And did she use those campaign funds to pay off her boyfriend years later? That's illegal. I'm starting to get a little bit triggered. Where is the FBI or the IRS? Just from the admissions that these people have made on the stand, the FBI or the IRS could throw these people in jail so easily. Where are they? What is the FBI spending all their time on that they cannot arrest this woman who is admitting to her crimes under oath? I guess if you're the DA, it seems like you can get away with anything. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is under arrest. This sounds like a two-tiered justice system. But what about the time period of their relationship? How did Fani Willis respond when she was questioned about whether she lied in her court documents?
I'm interested in, did you have contacts with Mr. Wade in 2020? And your answer so far has been yes, correct?
Very limited contact because Mr. Wade had a form of cancer that makes your allegations somewhat ridiculous.
And I do appreciate the
I'm not going to
characterization.
emasculate a black man, but I'm just telling you.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not going to emasculate a black man. Did you understand that?
All
I
right,
don't
let's
think
get
we should
back on
discuss
track.
further.
Mr. Sato, next question.
Okay, so Fannie Willis is not going to emasculate her boyfriend, but it seems like she's doing a pretty good job from her response to that question. Is she really saying that they did not have a relationship because Nathan Wade had erectile dysfunction for medical reasons? First of all, are you telling me that Nathan Wade could not get it up once in 2 years? And of course, just like the cash, there's no way to prove whether this happened or not. But here's the real problem. How would Fannie Willis have known about Nathan Wade having erectile dysfunction? If they were not sleeping together, how would she have even known about it? It's not like men tell random people about their erectile dysfunction unless they're sleeping together. But what is even more hypocritical is that she's accusing Donald Trump of interfering with the election. Fannie Willis's whole case is election interference. It turns out that some of the evidence presented is the invoices submitted by Nathan Wade. Here's an invoice showing that Nathan Wade met with the White House. If Fannie Willis hired Nathan Wade to prosecute this case, why is he coordinating with Donald Trump's political opponent? It certainly seems like this case is politically motivated. In fact, Fannie Willis was asked about this.
My next question is based on her opening the door, and therefore I'll just ask it and Your Honor can decide whether or not it's appropriate. When you went to D.C., did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No, well, apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow. There you have it. Next question.
This is another obvious case of perjury. There are White House visitor logs showing that Fannie Willis did visit the White House 1 week after the grand jury released their report recommending indictments against Donald Trump. Not only does the case seem politically motivated, she is lying about it. But that's not the only problem with Nathan Wade's invoices. Look at this invoice. On November the 5th, Nathan Wade billed for 24 hours of work. What? How can someone perform 24 hours of work in 1 day? Did he not take any breaks, or eat anything, or sleep? This looks like invoice fraud, but it is worse than that. Fannie Willis would have seen this invoice, signed off on it, and sent payment of taxpayer dollars. That means she committed procurement fraud. Nathan Wade was asked about this.
Did anyone ever question whether or not you worked 24 hours in 1 day and billed 24 hours in 1 day?
I've never worked 24 hours in 1 day and billed 24 hours in 1 day.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked me that question because I like the opportunity to talk about that.
I think you should go ahead.
So, if you look at that invoice where it says 24 hours in 1 day, it actually doesn't say 1 day. If you look at the top of the invoice, it says date completed. The date that's reflected on that invoice reflects the date that the work was completed. It doesn't say when it started. It just says this is the date that it's completed. So if you go through the invoices, probably around the first 5 or 6, you'll see that that's the billing format. I would bill only after that particular task has been completed. That's why you see a 24-hour period with the 1 day there. I kind of wish some of the experts who had opined on that had called me and asked me the question.
What a slick liar. Here's why this makes no sense. Because the later invoices that use date ranges also say date completed. Why would it mean the end date if the invoice gives a range of dates? If he really consciously changed his billing method, wouldn't he have removed the words date completed? Why didn't he remove the words? Then, Fannie Willis's father takes the stand. Now, The father is supposed to be backing up his daughter's testimony. Fannie Willis was living with her father in 2019, and he says that he did not see any sign that Fannie and Nathan Wade were dating. But then he accidentally admits that Fannie Willis kept her relationship with Nathan Wade a secret. This completely invalidates his testimony. If it was a secret, he would not be able to corroborate Fannie's story.
When did you learn that your daughter had a romantic, personal relationship with Mr. Wade?
Well, about 7 weeks ago, when it, as a matter of fact, I just found out when other folks found out.
But as your daughter, as I understand it, never told you one time in the year of 2022 that she was dating Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
And until recently, you didn't know from anyone, including your daughter, that she dated Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
That is, whatever the relationship is between father and daughter, she kept that a secret from you, correct?
Correct.
That's all I need to know.
This testimony tanks Fannie Willis's whole case. The friend says they were dating in 2019. The father admits that he cannot deny it. That means Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade both lied to the court. So here's the big question. What happens next? In my opinion, this judge has to disqualify both Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade. Their video testimony was trending #1 on Twitter. #1. The entire world is laughing about what she has done as district attorney. At the very least, there were improprieties going on, and at the worst, there were criminal acts by both Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade. How can the judge not remove them? If he doesn't, I think it's a pretty obvious sign of how corrupt the US legal system has become. I also have to say, I don't understand how the people in Georgia are not furious about this. Why aren't you asking your governor to investigate Fannie Willis? Why aren't you calling your state representative on the phone and asking that they remove her from office? I don't know if anyone from Georgia watches my videos, but if you are, you should know that your opinion matters. At the very least, you should be going on social media and saying your opinion. You don't have to accept the corruption in your government. Say something. Now, if these people are removed, that doesn't mean the case is over. The judge can decide to disqualify Fannie Willis, but keep the case going. In that situation, another district attorney from another district would need to step in. Now, I'm not sure who would want to do that. Most district attorney offices don't have idle staff sitting around who could take on a big case like this. So it would probably be a lengthy process to find someone to pick up the case. This would probably delay the case until after the next presidential election. We have yet to hear what the judge will decide in this case. But whatever happens, the one thing we do know is that this is another major win for Donald J. Trump. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that Fannie Willis should be disqualified? Let me know in the comments down below. Quick update on the channel. My video last week on Tucker Carlson got demonetized again. Why in the world would YouTube suppress videos about Tucker Carlson? I don't get it. When this happens, I do take a hit financially, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has signed up to be a channel member, because it helps me to survive when my videos get demonetized. Now, please don't feel like this is something you have to do, but if you would like to support what I do, consider signing up for a monthly membership on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. For $6 a month, you help me to keep putting out these videos. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.
Angel, you like it? Okay. You like it, huh? Okay. Just keep quiet, okay? Don't say anything. Okay, that woman.